Hello everyone, it's Hannah here from Virtually Fluent. Today we are turning to the grammar topic of reported speech, a really difficult topic, but we're going to review all those rules for indirect and direct reported speech too. So let's start with an understanding of what reported speech actually is. This is when we want to express exactly what another person has already said. My partner over there says something, and I want to tell another person, my sister, what my partner has said. I'm sort of a communication tool between different people. This is reported speech. For example, I like apples, she said. Now, this one is a little strange. This is what we call direct reported speech, and we simply insert exactly what the person said into speech marks, and then we add our reporting verb at the end. He said, he told me. Much more common is indirect reported speech. She said that she liked apples. Now, this is a lot more difficult because so many things need to change in the sentence to effectively and correctly express exactly what another person has said. Now, the first rule that we're going to learn is that the present simple tense automatically changes to the past simple tense. And we can see this in the first example that I just provided. Like becomes liked. I like apples, she said. She said that she liked, past simple, apples. Now you'll also notice that we can insert the word that in our indirect reported speech phrases. It's not absolutely necessary. Some sentences do make sense with and without that. So you can choose, pretty optional, whether you want to insert it or not. But unfortunately, it's not just the present simple that converts to the past simple. Pretty much every single tense changes. Present continuous becomes past continuous. I am watching TV, he said. He said that he was watching TV. Will becomes would. We will go to the shops, they said. They said that they would go to the shops. Present perfect becomes past perfect. I have visited France, she said. She said that she had visited France. The present perfect continuous becomes the past perfect continuous. I have been reading this book, he said. He said that he had been reading this book. The past simple becomes the past perfect. I went to town yesterday, she said. She said that she had gone to town the day before. Now, the past perfect is the only tense that stays exactly the same because we can't become more past than the past perfect. For example, I had gone to town before that, she said, is exactly the same. But we also change modal verbs. Can becomes could, and can't becomes couldn't. I can't dance, he said. He said that he couldn't dance. Might becomes may. I might see you later, he said. He said that he may see me later. And must becomes had to. We must finish our homework, they said. They said they had to finish their homework. And of course, it's not just our tenses that change, but all the little parts of the sentence. Pronouns, determiners, and time phrases also change. We need a real understanding of who is doing the action and who said the action in our sentences. For example, we must finish our homework, they said. They said that they had to finish their homework. Or I might see you later, he said. He said that he might see me later. Those determiners also change, so this becomes that. I have been reading this book, he said. He said that he had been reading that book. And these becomes those. I have been reading these books, he said. He said that he had been reading those books. And here also changes to there. Is she here? She asked. She asked me if she was there. Now let's just focus on that last sentence, that last change there, because it wasn't a basic sentence, it was actually a question. And questions are a little bit more complicated. You can see there are quite a lot of changes. Of course, we know that our tense needs to change. We also know that any determiners and pronouns and time phrases need to change. But the structure also completely changes. So we start with our reporting verb or our question verb, in this case, ask. She asked. And we also need to insert the object. Who is she asking? She asked me. Now we need to insert the word if. This is essential in reported questions. And then actually we flip the subject and the verb back to the basic structure. Not is she, but she is. Of course, in the past, she was. So is she here? She asked actually becomes she asked me if she was there. And just note that we can also use whether to replace if. Let's look at another example. Have you visited the UK? He asked. He asked me if, whether, I had visited the UK. And when we talk about reported questions, because they're not direct, we do not need a question mark. Just a full stop is okay. But we do have some alternative types of questions. You'll notice in the questions we've seen so far, they start with an auxiliary verb. Have, is, was. When we start a reported question with a question word, who, what, where, when, why, it's slightly different because we use the question word instead of if, whether. So we do not need if or whether when we have a question word. For example, where have you been? They asked. They asked me where I had been. Who is this? He asked. He asked me who that was. And the final reported structure that we need to review is imperative commands. For example, sit down. So first we need some kind of reporting verb that tells us it's a command. He told me, he commanded me, he instructed me. Then we say to, then our infinitive verb. He told me to sit down. Wait. She told them to wait. You'll also notice with both of these reported imperatives, that we need the object. Who are they commanding? She told them to wait. He told me to sit down. Now when it's the negative, it's exactly the same, but we need to insert not into the sentence, and this is before the to. For example, don't wait. She told me not to wait. And when we talk about offering something or trying to help somebody politely, particularly with could, it's exactly the same structure as with imperatives. For example, could you open the door? She asked me to open the door. Exactly the same as the imperative structure. So as you can see, reported speech is pretty difficult because everything changes in the sentence. The tense, pronouns, determiners, and time phrases, you must check all of those in your sentences. And if you are asking a question, offering something, or providing an imperative, positive or negative, the structure of the sentence changes. So if you would like to practice using this, you can head over to our reported speech course. I've left the link to that in the description below, and this will really help you have a good, full understanding of reported speech. We also provide a list with audios of the top reporting verbs as alternatives to tell, ask, say, something a little bit more exciting and more advanced in English. If you learned something new or just enjoyed today's explanation, please go ahead and give today's video a like. You can practice using reported speech in the comments below and I can provide you with feedback. And you should also go ahead and subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn those notifications on so you know exactly when I release a new video in English, either on grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation, anything at all to help you feel more confident in your English. But it's not just on YouTube. You can find me across loads of different social media channels, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter. I've left all of those links in the description below. Please go ahead and like, follow, share, join, and I post loads of free content there so you can have free access to all of those materials. This is Hannah from Virtually Fluent, bringing English to life.